Okay, guys, got an update. Got my controller in. Also, it's got a charge controller, and it will be self-maintained by a lead acid battery. It's a SLA. I ran the other one this way. I'm gonna try it with this one. It seemed to be working pretty good. And I got my controller hooked up, doing some testing as far as the actuators and then range of motion and stuff. So getting closer. I do got some temporary like bands kind of holding a board, and got the same way on the actuators. Just doing that to get my placement and make sure instead of boring a bunch of holes and having to move it. So once I get everything to where I'm happy with it, then everything will get bolted permanently. And the box is sealed on the outside, and I'll have some seal rubber gaskets on the back side, so when it pulls up against the pole, it'll seal up. So also it'll have some just for safety's sake on the bottom side. The wiring's gonna come in probably from the bottom anyways, but it'll be sealed. And I'll probably have a couple small drain holes just in case if there's any moisture does get inside, it can get out. So I got all of my rails on. They all are spaced evenly across from one side to the other. They're all spaced out equally for the panels. And the panels should join about right in the middle where you see the seam. So that's about where both sets of panels, it should be wide enough for 4. I gotta do some measuring to make sure. May actually have a little extra, so not sure if I'll cut it off or not, because if I decide to upgrade to a bigger panel, I'll already have the width. And the length will accommodate a longer panel as well. So, you know, I kind of hate to have that excess sticking out, but I kind of hate to cut it off and then decide later on I want to go with a bigger panel if the system will hold it okay. So anyways, that's our progress for today. And I'm going to do some range of motion with the actuators, make sure I'm happy with it, and then I'm going to hook up the make a bracket for the I got a little small solar panel that I'll mount somewhere to actually pick up, you know, energy to charge the battery, and it's right there. And that's the one I was using for probably about the last year, and it's been working fine. I'm gonna do it a little differently. I'm gonna mount it on some PVC pipe, and take this PVC pipe and create a bracket that will allow that to mount to it. And then this right here will be getting wire tied, or maybe even drilled and screwed to one of these rails. More than likely is probably where I'll put it. And then that way that panel can hang out here and get plenty of sun and charge. And then the solar tracking module will have to have the same thing, which I got to work on figuring out how I'm gonna do it. May do it similar with some PVC pipe. I want something that's going to last a long time, so I'm just got to think about, you know, what's going to affect it as far as the sun and temperature changes and stuff. So anyways, that's my progress for today. And if you guys like what I'm posting, subscribe and like. And if you got any comments, go ahead and comment. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I'm out here working on my DIY projects. I do have my power wall set up and running, been working great. I have backup power. I have a wind turbine coming in. Actually recently checked my wind turbine, and I had a lightning strike here a few months back, and I'm afraid it may have gotten toasted. So I got to get it down and check it. This is my battery setup at this time. Been working pretty good, but I'm going to go with a different setup. So I'm going to be breaking these down and creating some different style batteries, and I'm going to try the Batrium balancing system and see if I can't get more kilowatts in battery size. Still going to go with 24 volt, but I'm going to use the Batrium as far as for balancing. And of course, this MPP solar has been awesome. Have not had any trouble out of it. It's been doing great. Right, you know, the features has just been really nice the way this thing works. It's a charge controller, it's a inverter, it's an off-grid inverter, on-grid inverter. So it does everything. It does my off-grid, so when my power's out, I can still run off-grid. If I'm on-grid, it will actually feed back to the grid through this right here, and Then this other one is actually feeding over to here, which all of these switches are wired into my emergency backup for the house, and it basically just runs 24/7. If the batteries get too low, then this inverter will actually switch and start charging the batteries from the grid. So if the grid is there, it will charge my batteries up if they get too low, say late at night or something, and my batteries getting depleted because I've got, you know, extra lights on, maybe running something that pulls a little extra energy. Then instead of them having to wait till the sun comes up the next day or the next 2 or 3, or, you know, if it's cloudy like it is here in the wintertime, it may take a while for them to recharge. Well, the nice thing is it will let the grid charge the batteries. So whether they're lithium, or I got some lead acid down here that I have been using before I started this, I'm going to use those as kind of a backup source. So when I switch to my new style, and I'll do some videos as I build those and set that system up, and see what you guys think, and see what we can come up with a little bit better system. I think the Batrium, by everything I've seen on all the different people I follow, seems to be a good setup, and I just want to make sure and take care of my batteries and make them last a long time. And eventually, if I have friends and people that want systems set up, I want something that's quick and easy to make. These right here take a long time. You got to build all these boards and populate them with the trays. And then I said it takes a long time to build these, like your state of charge trays, and it takes a whole lot of components. So just to build one, it's several hours invested to create that. It works well, but I want to be able to make it quicker. You know, and then if I do this for somebody later on, then I don't want people having to wait for me to get all this stuff soldered and created and put together and tested. And so, you know, just build a battery, set it up, have the Batrium system, hook it all up, and then you're ready to go. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So anyways, got my update for today. This is, I think, the 25th, 26th of January. And so we're getting closer to spring, and the nice thing about it, you know, I can do more videos and do this a little faster once I get to that point, because I'm trying to wait for some nice weather before I actually put this out. So what I'm doing is just building it in my garage, testing everything out, make sure it's all working well, and then all I gotta do is just pull a few pins, which I got some keeper pins up here. Easy in, easy out. So right now, basically, I can take out a few screws, pull out a couple pins, and that whole setup on top will just lift off and it can be moved. And so then I can move 2 big pieces, this piece, the north-south, and if I want to, I can break it down again. I can actually pull this big center pin here, and then the north-south bar will come out, and with this bracket here as well. So you can break it down. I can break it down even farther. So if I want to take it out there in 3 pieces, I can. Or I can just, you know, mark everything and I can just take it completely apart. But probably we'll take it out in just like 2 or 3 pieces. So that's the update for today, you guys. Subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you again.